Good morning to everybody. Give y'all some time to get up in here, but blessings to everybody. Hope you're feeling good this morning. Top of it, Charming. What's going on, bro? Just wanted to get a quick word in. I done just got through doing some videos, and I wanted to put something on your mind. That's all. Good morning, Angel. Top of it, Jay. Blessings to everybody. I had called you, bro. You called me on the 773. Good morning. Bro, you called me on the 773 line? Because you know, when I go out and when I do my videos, I pretty much only have the 702. What's going on, Goldie? Blessings, bro. Yeah, when I'm out, though, when you see me like moving about and outside, I got the 702 line on me. Uh, when I have people call in, that's the 504 line. When I pretty much got, young peas and ladies and everything calling students and all that. That's that 773 line. So I got that at the house charging. I don't be carrying all my phones on me at all times. Keep that 702 on me for them videos. Only a selected few got the 702, and you one of them. Jay one of them too. Goldie one of them. But I just wanted to say some things to you guys. Let's see, it's only been 2 minutes. I guess I'll give it a little more time. How y'all doing? Before I get started, because this ain't even going to be a long video, probably just be about 15 to 20 minutes. I just want to say something to you. And even for you guys that's outside of the lifestyle, you could take this information and empower yourselves even in the lane you in. Hold on. Mika B, new elevator extraordinary. Good morning, extraordinary gentlemen. Blessings to everybody. I'm just giving you guys some time to get up in here. Ain't it beautiful? Ain't it a beautiful day? Hold on, let me show you. I love Scottsdale. Man, I love Scottsdale, man. This is beautiful. This really is beautiful, man. Okay, well, it's enough of you in now. For those of you, um, you could just basically catch it later after I end this live. But I wanted to say to you that you always keep your woman or women in remembrance of this game. And as you know, game ain't nothing but, the word that we use for uncommon information, knowledge, wisdom. I had some partners, and even a partner that I used to even be cool with, that I ain't gonna bring up his name, but he said, man, every time we get into an argument, she wanna like bring up this, she wanna say this, she wanna act like she created herself. She wanna act like she empowered herself. She wanna act like she gave herself the game. She wanna act like, you know what I mean, that she the one that did this, that she basically taught herself to do this. She taught herself to do that. She don't got no appreciation for the game that I gave her. She don't got no appreciation, you know what I mean, for all the information, that I gave her. She acting like, you know what I mean, it's her mind that created all this. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. But everybody that, just fuck with me. Sin ain't never done no week live. You already know to hit the like button the moment you come in. Hit that like button, hit the share button. Get as many people in here as you can. But she just don't appreciate me. She don't appreciate this game that I gave her, seeing. And it kind of reminds me of the time, and this is the reason why I say keep them in remembrance. because when you keep them in remembrance, they'll never forget. When you go into even the Word of God, when you read the scriptures, you will always see Yah always telling the children of Israel, which is us, but he always told the children of Israel, keep in remembrance. Remember that I brought you from Egypt. Remember that I delivered you out of the hand of the enemy. Remember that I parted the Red Sea. Remember that I got you out of the mouth of the lion and the lion's den. Remember that I brought you out of the well, you know what I mean, Jonah. You know, like, remember what I've done. If you read all throughout the scriptures, Yah, God is always telling his people, stay in remembrance. Because it's so easy to get into your arrogance. It's so easy for you to start taking credit and you start taking the glory for things. And it's imperative for each representative that's presiding over hoes in the game to keep these hoes in remembrance of this game, to keep them in remembrance of the information and what is done, you know what I mean, for the lives, you know what I mean, of them. Remember that you was on the couch at your mama's house. Remember that you didn't know how to drive. Remember that you didn't have a car when I started messing with you. Remember that you come out the projects. Remember that I took you out of Macy's. You know what I mean? Not to, belittle them or keep them a base, but to always keep them in the spirit of humility. It reminds me of the time that I was so glad once I came into holiness, I received salvation. You know, but before salvation, everybody know I was in special ed. I was in special ed. I was labeled as a special ed student. So, you know what I mean, they had me for behavior disorder. Yeah, I was labeled as behavior disorder, and the teachers was encouraging my mother to put me on Ritalin. They were saying that he's a problem. You know what I mean? Some teachers even said that I wouldn't make it into, they said that I wouldn't even make it, you know what I mean, to see 20 years old, 18. You know what I mean? I even remember the teacher's name. He's still living as well. But they was telling my mother, encouraging her to put me on Ritalin. Um, and of course, my mother didn't want to put me on no Ritalin. You know what I mean? My mother wasn't gonna sit up there and put her baby on no Ritalin. So, that was out of the question. So my mother was looking at them crazy. But when I gave my life to God and to the doctrine of true holiness, I came into the knowledge that I actually had a beautiful comprehension and I had capabilities to learn because I was labeled as behavior disorder and I was LD, learning disability behavior. But really, my LD was because of the BD, because of the behavior disorder, acting out in class. But when I came into the knowledge of true holiness and I conformed to the doctrine, of holiness, receiving salvation, I came into the realization of my individuality, my intellectual capabilities as a person. So once I came into the knowledge of self and to the knowledge of who I am as an individual and the ministry that God gave me, I realized my importance as an individual. So once I started achieving things in school, I got the most improved student award. God took me out of special ed. I was back in regular school and I got the most improved award. I was captain of the debate team. I was winning all the spelling bees. I went from D's and F's to now basically being a straight A student. My report card went from D's and F's to basically all A's, and I had like two B's at that particular time. I remember my first report card. So I called Elder Donald L. Mosley, the presiding elder at the Way of Holiness Mission on 1041 South Halsted. And I called Elder Mosley and I said, Elder Mosley, oh man, I turned all my F's into A's. I turned my D's into B's. And, I done did this and they want me to do this and I'm going to be the spokesman. I'm going to speak for the graduation. I'm presiding over the graduation. I'm speaking for this. I'm going to be singing this and I'm doing this and I'm going to be doing this. And he said, wait a minute, son. You said, what did you just say? I said, I've won the spelling bee. I'm going to be presiding over the graduation. And, I'm going to be doing this and I'm doing this. And they took me out of special ed because I did this and I did. He said, what did you say? I said, Elder Mosley, that, I won the spelling bee. And they brought the children from Naperville, to Chicago this morning. And I was out spelling all of the white kids, and I'm representing holiness well. I don't wear nothing but a suit and shirt and tie to school. And instead of the children, they bringing book bags, and I'm bringing a briefcase. When the children is in the cafeteria at lunchtime roasting each other, I'm in the library studying the encyclopedias, the dictionaries, and reading the word. I'm even about to start reading the Quran, and I'm doing this, and I'm doing that. He said, see, that's why I asked you again, what did you say? Because as I began to listen to you, Philip, you keep saying I. And I have a problem with that. You keep saying I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and I did that. Son, you didn't do nothing. That was all God. Have you forgotten that the teachers told you that you wasn't going to even see 25 and 20 years old? How your mother used to be calling me, talking about you all the time? All of the people within the community were scared of you. They put you on behavior disorder, the things that you was doing. How, you sit up there, you was bringing bullets to school, and y'all was, because I had a girl, Michelle Dees, that's another story, different girls on the school bus, and you was, having girls perform oral sex on you and things like that. Have you forgotten? This is no goodness of your own. This is God. This is Yah in your life moving on your behalf. You ain't did nothing. Don't you ever forget where God brought you from. Whenever you speak on your accomplishments, I want you giving praise to God. Don't ever say, I did this, I did that. Because when you say, I did this and I did that, you remind me of Lucifer in the scripture in the 14th chapter of the book of Isaiah. Every statement that he initiated was, I will ascend above the stars of God. I. You got to be careful with that. So before I allow that spirit to grow, son, I'm checking you right now and rebuking that. I want you to always stay in remembrance of what God has done for you. Because if you stay in remembrance of what God has done for you, if you stay in remembrance of what the Word of God is doing in your life, you won't allow the spirit of pride and arrogance to come in, and destroy you. When you look in the book of Proverbs, when it talks about the 7 things that God hates, it wasn't homosexuality. He didn't say fornication. The first thing that came out of the scripture was pride. Why? Because that was the first sin that was ever committed. God hates pride. The Most High hates pride. He hates arrogance. Anything that reminds him of arrogance and pride, God abhors it. It's a vexation to the Spirit of God. So when you call from now on, you give honor to God, honor to his word. Don't take no glory for yourself. That's how the enemy come in. That's how the enemy sit up there and puff your mind up, and you start thinking that you bigger than the ministry. You start thinking that you bigger than the word. Always stay in remembrance of what God has done for you. Because if you lose focus of that, and you replace God with yourself, and you start committing an idolatry with yourself, then you on your way to hell, son. And you might not be participating in fornication. You might not be participating in masturbation. You might not be participating in all the rest of the abominations and things like that the enemy got to offer you. But you're going to still go to the same destination as the fornicator, the homosexual, the killer, the murderer, the game banger, the pimp, the hoe. You're going to go to the same destination with the spirit of pride. God hates the spirit of pride, son. Don't you ever say that again. From now on, when you talk to me, when you do anything academically, all your accomplishments, you give honor to God. And from that day forward, and I wasn't even Minister Gilmore at that time. I was just Brother Gilmore. I was just Philip, just Brother Philip. And at that time, and even after I became a minister, after I would preach and speak, I would immediately leave service and hurry up and get home, because I was taught that after you sing, after you preach, after you play the piano, the organ, that there will be many sisters and brothers trying to exalt you and make you into a god. So I said all that to say this, and you can. This information is so impeccable. This it's applicable to everybody in every lifestyle. I said that to say this. Even people within the game, they start getting puffed up. They start getting lifted up. They start becoming glorified. They start glorifying themselves because of their position in the game, because of the licks that they hit in the game, because of the amount of money that they've had, because of the materialistic things that they had, because of the mansion homes that they had. So they start glorifying themselves and exalting themselves, as God. They replace God with themselves. The creature now has exalted himself and put him in the stead, the position, the office of the creator, and that is an abomination. So, before you allow yourself, first of all, check yourself first, because sometimes our temperatures, we'll get so high and mighty to where wisdom can't speak to us, can't nobody tell us nothing. And that's one of the reasons why, I went to prison. At that time, of course, I did some things. I had knocked Freeze, a few times, and because of things that was going on between me and Freeze, when Freeze sat up there, and God used Freeze to tell me that, seeing, you know, um, how old is she? How old is her? Oh man, I checked her ID, man. She 19. All right, but always remember that warning come before destruction. God was using him at that time, but I actually thought that Freeze was saying that to basically sit up there and get under the broad, so I'll blow the broad fire and he could slide up under, simply because I had knocked Freeze, you know what I mean, got him a few times. So that's why I thought, that he was doing, but God was using him. But because I was so high and mighty and arrogant and lifted up with all of my gifts, even at a young age, I'm like, man, I'm about to be 20 deep. You know what I mean? I ain't been in the game, a whole year, man. I'm about to be 20 deep by summertime, man. I'm about to have Vegas flooded with hoes. And because of that, and by me being governed with the spirit of pride and arrogance, you know, even that particular situation, which if I would have listened and really studied into it and investigated, I didn't have to lose the 3 years in my life. I didn't have to be 34 years old. And when you put in sinful to P, now you have individuals who are lesser than me, got less character than me, now basically are able to blaspheme and say that I'm a pedophile and all of these things. But I made provisions for that by me not taking heed to the Spirit of God, by me not taking heed, by me not investigating. That's my fault. That's something I got to deal with. Well, the little things that I've dealt with already, that's nothing in comparison to what I will deal with in the future as a minister. But I just say this to you. I said that to say this. When it comes to these women, always keep them in remembrance of the game, P. Always. You know, be careful when she start talking about, I did this, or I deserve this, or she should get this much attention, or I did this. Cut that short. Cut that conversation real short with her. When she began to say, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that, cut her off, because it's only a matter of time before the students start thinking that she on the same level with the teacher or above the teacher, or start forgetting that it was the teacher that taught. So keep them in remembrance of this game. You know, always within the interview, always within the conversation with your women, always ask them questions. Well, P, I already know the answer. Why would I ask her questions? The reason why you ask her questions is because she's going to reveal to you that she's ignorant pertaining to things. And I got to keep saying it. You know what I mean? The reason why you keep asking familiar students or new students that you're not familiar with, the reason why you keep asking them questions, because within those questions, they're going to reveal that they're ignorant. So once she reveals to you that she's ignorant, she has just given you the opportunity to enlighten her. Okay? But she would have never revealed to you that she was ignorant if you didn't ask a question. But by us being so arrogant and egotistical, a lot of times in conversations with women, the woman can't even talk because we talking about ourselves. And this ain't just to the pimps, this to the men outside of the game. We so busy talking about ourselves and our accomplishments and everything that we endeavoring to do, we not even listening to her or asking where she's at mentally, simply because we talking about ourselves for an eternity. We talking about ourselves. We so arrogant. We so egotistical. The spirit of God can't talk to us. The spirit of wisdom can't talk to us. The spirit of ism can't talk to us. Our P partners can't talk to us. We can't even talk to ourselves. So, that pride and that spirit of arrogance is a motherfucker. Within every lifestyle, we have cancers. And the cancer in the lifestyle of pimping is pride. It's many cancers, but one of the greatest of them all, if not the greatest of them all, is the spirit of pride. Because the pimpin exalts himself to be God and is looked at like a God, he started carrying himself damn near like he is God. And now God has to sit your dumb ass down to remind you that you are not God. You got frailties, you got insecurities, you got iniquities, you got areas that you ain't confident in, just like the next man. Sit your dumb ass down. You are not God. Sit your ashy ass down. And I had to sit down for 3 years, and hopefully I'll be able to. You put it like this: you always want to humble yourself, because if you don't humble yourself, God has to humble you, and you don't want God to humble you. It's better to humble yourself than for God to humble you, because when God humbles you, you might lose a person, you might lose a ligament, you might lose, everything that you presiding over. It's better for you to humble yourself. You don't want God to humble you. As we see at one time, Suge Knight was the best definition of powerful to the ghetto. Suge Knight had hundreds of $1 million that he was presiding over. Suge, Danny Boy said everywhere they went, Suge would have a suitcase, $100,000. Suge was spending $100,000 or over $100,000 almost every day. Suge had it his way. Suge had so much power that he got Tupac out of prison, not jail, out of prison. That's how much power Suge had. You know what I mean? And Suge, by Suge saying and doing things as if all existed, you know what I mean? God had to humble him, because the things that he was saying and doing, he started moving as if he was God. Of course, because of the area, the connection wasn't good. So, we didn't went from 240 to 181 people already. You know what I mean? But when it buffers and I had to restart my phone just to be able to come back to you. But, he moved at one time, Suge moved as if he was God. And the Most High had to humble him. Look at all the individuals that talked as if they were God, and look at the results of that. Look at the results. Muhammad Ali said that he was the greatest. Okay? And look at the results. Look at the final condition. Look at everybody who made statements as if they were higher than God or above God or on God's level. The Beatles said that they was the saviors to the world. The Beatles said that they were better than Jesus Christ. They said that they was better than Yahshua. Look at the results. Suge moved as if he was God when he was on the streets. Yeah, I don't even want to bring up John Gotti. I don't even want to bring up different people, even like Jeff Fort. You know what I mean? Certain statements that I heard, I wasn't there. You know what I mean? But even Chief said some things that wasn't, whenever you speak like you on the same level with the Creator, now the Creator has to humble you. You got to watch what you say out of your mouth. You got to be very careful of the things that you say out of your mouth, because while you under basically the spirit of pride, being governed by the spirit of pride will compel you to say things that's contrary to wisdom. Stay away from that. So it's just like that when you having a conversation with your woman or your women, and she constantly I did this, I did this, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. Be mindful of all the individuals that said I this and I that, and made statements as if they was God or moved like they was God, and look at the final results. They not good. Suge just got 28 years. It's not good. You know what I mean? It comes a time that you have to humble yourself. As the scripture says, humble thyself and God will exalt you. Humble yourself before God and he will exalt you. Don't exalt yourself. So when you have a woman or women who are doing some things, you know what I mean, that's, commendable, it's respectable, I want you to keep her in remembrance of this game. Let her know where she was before she came basically into the game. Before you blessed her with the game, she was just a square that was ignorant of game. And always keep her in remembrance, because that will kill the spirit of pride, that will kill that arrogant demon, and not only that, that will always keep her in a place where she's always glorifying the game. Keep them glorifying the game. By you making her acknowledge the game and who the game came from, it keeps the woman and your women in the spirit of humility. So get into a continuity of glorifying the game. Don't glorify the money. Glorify the game. Don't glorify green papers with dead hypocrites on it. Glorify the game. Glorify the uncommon information that empowered us, that took us out of a urban circumstance, that took us out of urban communities, that took us out of poverty, that empowered us, that gave us opportunities to create basically lifelong, situations where we can have financial freedom. Glorify the game. Glorify the information. Don't glorify money. Don't glorify the sex. Glorify the information, knowledge, wisdom. That's what you glorify to the woman. That's what you glorify to your women. And by you keeping her in remembrance of the game, you won't be in the circumstance of my partner's early game. You won't be in the circumstance of my partner's earlier that said, man, she just be talking like she did it herself. She just be talking like she created herself. She created her horn, as if basically she came in the game as a thief. She talking as if basically she gave herself the game on how to be the cold thief that she is, or she gave herself, the game on how to be the coldest hoe, or she gave herself the game on how to be the woman that she is today, to be the businesswoman that she is today. She act like she did that. She acting like she did this. And one of the reasons why these women continue to do this and will continue to do this is because you allow that spirit to become a big demon. And if you allow that woman to keep saying, I did this and 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 I did that, and she didn't do this and she didn't do this, but I'm doing this and I'm doing this, and if you don't cut that off, if you don't cut that shit off in the gate, it's going to exacerbate. The problem is going to get greater, and it's going to be she's going to get to a place where she thinks that you didn't give her the game. She thinks that she's at that level because of her. So in order to stop that, to destroy that spirit, cut that shit off at the gate, and let her know that the only reason why I'm enabled to do the things that I'm doing, the only reason why I'm able to preside over you the way that I do, the only reason why you did what you did, the only reason why you went from being a $300 bitch to making $2,000 to $5,000 a night is because of this game. And who gave you the game? Because if I remember correctly, when I asked you this question and that question and this question and that question, you were ignorant. You was unlearned. You wasn't knowledgeable on how to do this. You didn't even know how to dress, before I met you. You didn't even know how to put yourself in the proper attire. Who taught you that, attraction come before subtraction? Sometimes, most of the times, if not all the time, you got to basically attract the trick before you subtract from them. Attraction brings subtraction. You got to look like money to make big money in the game. Who taught you that? Who gave you that? Who taught you how to conduct yourself in the game? Who taught you that? You know what I mean? I gave it to you. The game used me to be a blessing to you. So always keep them in remembrance. Always keep them in remembrance that, you know what I mean, when you first came into the game, you was shopping at BB. Yeah, you was a BB bitch. Before you was wearing Louis, before you was wearing Gucci, before you had a house, before you was driving foreign, before you had jewelry, before you had a business, you didn't even know how to spell business on a smartphone. You barely knew how to spell your name on a smartphone. Who took your vocabulary from a third grade level? Now, when you speak, people think that you come from Harvard. They think that you went to another Ivy League school, Stanford. They think you went to Berkeley. Who taught you that? Who was putting that dictionary in your hand? Who taught you the Spanish? Who provoked you to do this? Who provoked you to do that? Who did that? Come on, man. So we got to always keep them in remembrance of this game, because if we keep them in remembrance of this game, we won't have to deal with, whether or not, who she got the game from, and I did this, and before it can even become a home run, cut that shit off at first base. Don't even allow it to be first base. Because if it becomes a first base thing, she'll think she can get to second base. Second base will become third base. Before you know it, she will be scoring like that. Don't let it happen. Appreciate that, Ken. Thank you, bro. Thank you, Christian. Hold on, let me make sure I didn't miss nobody else. I'm going up. Hold on. 10. Marquez, thank you, bro. Blessings to all y'all. Thank you. I appreciate that. But keep them in remembrance of the game. Keep them in remembrance of the information. Because when you keep them in remembrance of the information, that can basically avoid a lot of verbal or physical confrontations in the future. In order to avoid misunderstandings is to have an outstanding understanding. So if we want to avoid misunderstandings, we're going to maintain the outstanding understanding that we got from the beginning. I hope you guys live as long as you want, never want as long as you live. I got videos that I'm going to be posting later on. I just did them. I just had to hit you with that. The game had dropped that in my spirit. I hope you guys hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you go to my website, www.sinfulthep.net. If you haven't checked out my nigga Craig gonna have some new music coming out soon. Freeze just basically put out the 10 Ho Commandments, which I'm gonna end up putting on the channel probably later today or probably tomorrow. But man, make sure you go to Freeze channel. Freeze just let us know that lyrically can't nobody in the pimp game fuck with him. Go to FREEZEIZIT and go to Freeze channel, man. Freeze just did the 10 Ho Commandments, and my God, lyrically, can't nobody fuck with Freeze in the game, man. I'm not just saying it because he's my brother, but man, that shit he dropped last night, that was a fool. So we need to support this game, man. Those of you that's gonna be on the blade, I want you to bump that. I want you to put that, you know what I mean, in the ears of these women. Keep them in remembrance of the game, man. Yeah, that track was nice, very nice. You know what I mean? So we want to support that. I hope you guys live as long as you want. Oh, 6 o'clock today. I want everybody. 6 o'clock today, Andre Taylor will be live. Go to Andre Taylor, Gorgeous Dre's channel at 6 o'clock. Andre Taylor will be live giving us the daily fire. Okay? So go to Andre Taylor, subscribe to his channel, share his videos. Make sure you hit the like button because the information that I gave within this video was very necessary. So hit the like button. I love you guys. I see you later on. Love you, family. One.